Hey everybody, today we're going to show you how to find all 39 Korok seeds here in the Gerudo Highlands in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Our first seed is going to be found on the mountaintop just north of the Gerudo Desert Gateway. You guys can see right up here on this mountain, and you're going to find a flower on top of a rock. Now you're just going to play a quick game of follow the flower all the way around this mountain. It's pretty much just going to be a giant circle and go from rock to rock, and they don't spawn too far away from each other, so they're super easy to keep up with. Just work your way all the way around. You'll come up on this rock here, and then we'll go to the final rock here in the back. And once we grab this flower, the Korok will pop up and we'll get seed number 1. Number 2 is going to be found just east of the Nefra Hill. You guys can see we're going to be right on the edge of the mountain here. And once you make it over here, you just need to jump off and land on this little ledge down on the bottom. And you're going to see a pinwheel in the far back. Walk up to that pinwheel. It's going to spawn 3 balloons that are kind of moving in every direction. Hit all 3 of those balloons for the Korok to spawn, and you'll get seed number 2. Number 3 is going to be found right here in the middle of the Nefra Hill, and it'll be pretty easy to spot, as when you get up here, you'll see a giant rock with a small rock on the top. Just climb up to the top, pick up that small rock, and you'll get seed number 3. Numbers 4 and 5 are going to be found together just west of the Lepero Mesa. You guys can see our location right here. And at the top of the hill is going to be our little Korok buddy who needs help making it to the very bottom of the mountain. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. There are some materials on the ground right here beside us that allow you to make essentially a sled that you can put a fan on the back of, and you can just slide your way all the way down the mountain if you please. Or you can do what I'm doing and make yourself an airplane. I always do the airplane route just because it's a little more fun, but I think the sled probably would have been a good idea. But regardless, once you get him down to the bottom of the mountain, just sit him there next to his buddy and you'll get the next 2 seeds. Number 6 is going to be found in pretty much the same spot just west of the Lepero Mesa. You guys can see on your map, you kind of have a little bridge right here in front of us. And there's going to be an archway when you get up here. Just work your way to the right side of the mountain so you can get under the archway, and you'll find this little piece of wood on the roof above you. All you need to do is ascend through that piece of wood, and when you get to the top, you'll get seed number 6. Number 7 is going to be found on the edge of the mountain just north of the Vitorsa snowfield. You guys can see our location here. And once you make it to the ledge, you can just drop down to this other little ledge where you're going to find a pinwheel that spawns 3 balloons. Easiest way to do this, just aim in the same spot, wait for all 3 of them to cross by. And once you hit all 3, you'll get seed number 7. Number 8 is going to be found on the northwestern side of the Lepero Mesa. You guys can see we're at the very top up here. And once you make it over here, you're going to find a little section that's got 3 planks. And we want to put all 3 of these little pieces of wood together to make a roof. So we'll attach all 3 just like this. And then if you turn around, we're going to have a statue. We want to cover that statue with our roof. And as soon as you do that, the little Korok will appear and you'll get seed number 8. Number 9 is going to be found north of the Lepero Mesa. And you can actually see where I've pinged here. We're going to have a tree just on the bottom of the mountain. All we need to do is come over to this tree and climb to the top. Try not to slip off like I just did. But once you climb all the way up to the top, you'll have a little cluster of leaves spawn that you can interact with, and this will give you seed number 9. Number 10 is going to be found on the mountaintop that's just southwest of the Lepero Mesa. You guys can see the little circular mountain on your map. Once you get over here, up top is going to be a cork, and we need to set this thing free. So we want to take all 3 of these metal pieces here and attach them to the cork. I've attached 1 to the cork, the other 2 can just attach to the piece of metal. But once you have all 3 of them together, all you need to do is drop them off the side, and there's going to be enough weight to pull the cork free, revealing the Korok and giving you seed number 10. Number 11 is going to be found just north of Safia's table. You'll see that our marker is going to be placed on this natural bridge. And at the back of the bridge is going to be a piece of ice. Now, all we need to do is melt this thing. You can use fire fruit to do so. We'll hit this thing just a couple times, and once it melts down, it's going to reveal a small rock. Go ahead and pick up that rock, and once you do, you'll get seed number 11. Number 12 can be found just north of the Zerko Mesa. Here is the exact location for this one, and once you make it up here, you'll find a block of wood. Hit that block of wood and jump off, and all you need to do is fly your way all the way down the hill here and fly through the yellow circle here in front of us. You don't even need to touch the ground. You can just continue to fly. And once we get down here, we'll drop down and drop right here into the circle. That's going to spawn the Korok and give you seed number 12. Number 13 is also going to be found just north of the Zerko Mesa. You can actually see where our marker is. It's at this natural bridge. You want to go underneath it, and underneath that bridge is going to be a wooden tree stump on the ceiling. All we need to do is once again ascend through that piece of wood, and once we pop up on the bridge, we'll get seed number 13. Number 14 is going to be on the peak of the Zirco Mesa. So you want to go up as high as you possibly can, right here where we've got our marker. You're going to see 2 circles. All we need to do is take the rock that's outside the circles, complete the one on the left side. And once you do, the Korok will pop up and give you seed number 14. Number 15 is going to be found on the eastern side of the Zirco Mesa. You'll have a triangle of 3 trees here on your map to use as a pointer. But once you get over here, we're going to need to make another roof with some wooden planks. So we're going to have 3 right over here behind this rock. You want to get these as even as possible, as that has to fit on the stands perfectly so it covers the statues. But once you have all 3 lined up perfectly, pick that thing up, turn around, and all we need to do is cover the 2 statues that are right here in front of us. Drop this on the top. Once you do, the Korok will then pop up and you will get seed number 15. Number 16 is going to be found just north of the Tafe Hill. You guys can see we're going to be on this little circular ledge on the side of the mountain. And once you jump down here, you're going to find a cork. All we need to do is pick up this boulder here behind us, attach it to the cork, and then take the boulder and drop it off the ledge. That's going to open it up, revealing the Korok and giving you seed number 16. Number 17 is going to be found on the eastern side of Safia's table. You guys can see right up here on this mountainside. And once you make it up here, we're going to have another block of ice that we need to melt down. Once again, we'll use some fire fruit. And once that ice is melted, you'll find a small rock. Go ahead and pick that thing up and you'll get seed number 17. Number 18 is going to be found on the southern side of Safia's table. You want to come to this exact location here on the cliffside. And once you're here and you jump off, pull your parachute. And if you look carefully, you'll see that there is an acorn chained to the side of the mountain. Go ahead and hit that acorn with an arrow and you'll get seed number 18. Number 19 is going to be found just west of Safia's table. You can actually see a little dotted line swirl on your map. It's going to be a bunch of rocks. We're going to need to place 3 rocks in here. The first 2 are going to be obvious. They'll be right beside it. Really hard to miss. Go ahead and pick these 2 up and drop these on the outside. And then your third rock is going to be over here behind this piece of ice. Now you don't actually need to melt it. You can just come right over here on the side and pick it up and carry it back across. And just drop this one right here on the outside where we have one more spot. The Korok will pop up and you'll get seed number 19. Number 20 is going to be found in pretty much the same spot, just a little bit further west. You can come to this exact location. You're going to find a giant boulder and a hole in the ground. Go ahead and pick that boulder up, and right here behind us is going to be our wooden stand that we can drop this thing into. Once it's there, it'll do the little poof. The Korok will pop up and you'll get seed number 20. Number 21 is going to be on the mountainside that's just northeast of Medella's mantle. Here is the location. We're going to have an easy puzzle to solve. The piece will be right here, and we're just going to pick this thing up, and you want it to look like the letter T. So once you got it set like the letter T, you'll be able to fit this right into the wall to spawn the Korok and get seed number 21. Number 22 is going to be found just west of the Vatera snowfield. You guys can see our location here. We're going to have a flower at the bottom of this giant rock. Go ahead and pick that thing up and then follow the flower trail up the hill and over here towards this other big rock. And once you make it over here, we'll pick up the final flower and we'll get seed number 22. Number 23 can be found just north of the Vatersa snowfield. You guys will see back at the very end of this canyon on the left side is going to be a giant rock on the side of the mountain here. Just climb up on top of this to this ledge. You'll find a small rock up top. Pick that thing up and you'll get seed number 23. Number 24 is going to be on the mountain that's just north of Vatersa snowfield. You guys can see where our ping's at. There's only one single tree up here, and all we need to do is climb to the top of that tree. So we'll run up here, climb all the way up to the top. A cluster of leaves will spawn that we can interact with, and once we do, we'll get seed number 24. Number 25 is also going to be on the mountain that's just north of Vatersa snowfield. This time we're on the far northern side, and you can actually see a small dotted circle on your map. That's where we want to be. We'll jump off the ledge down here to where our little circle of rocks is, and the rock that we need is going to be right here beside the ice. Pick that thing up, drop it into place, and once you do, we'll get seed number 25. Number 26 is going to be found just east of the Gerudo summit. You can see we actually have a smaller peak right down here, and once you make it up top, you'll see a little piece of wood that we can walk over to spawn a yellow circle. We need to get to that fairly quickly so we can jump up on this thing, fly across, and make it to the circle in time to get seed number 26. Number 27 is pretty much going to be in the same spot right next to the Gerudo summit. You can see we have a little half circle ledge right here where these 4 trees are. That's where we want to be. When you jump off and you see the 4 trees, you're also going to see a piece of ice on this ledge. We need to melt that piece of ice. So you can jump and pull your chute and then use your arrows to shoot fire fruit at it. This is the safest way to do it. Or you can land here and just throw the fire fruit, but be careful as you're really close. There's a good chance that you'll lose some health doing so. But once you do, you just need to pick up the small rock that appears and you'll get seed number 27. Number 28 is going to be found on the northern side of the Gerudo summit. You guys can see 4 trees in the shape of a square here. And around these trees is going to be a little cluster of leaves traveling around. It's really hard to see in the daylight in the video, but just look for a little cluster of leaves traveling along the ground and you'll get seed number 28. Number 29 is going to be on the southern side of the Gerudo summit. And you want to be really careful. This one's really challenging. This is the location that you want to head to. There's going to be a giant sword. And we want to get on the top of this sword. What I recommend doing is climbing up and then using a rocket on your shield to fly all the way up. And then if you land on the handle, there's a small rock that you can pick up to get Korok seed number 29. Number 30 is going to be found up on the mountaintop just east of the Risoka snowfield. You guys can see we're going to be up right here. And there's going to be a small rock that you can pick up. Go ahead and pick that rock up, and then we're going to cross the bridge with this thing. So we're going to take this all the way down here to where we have a diamond shape with smaller rocks. We're going to complete the diamond, and once you do, we'll get seed number 30. Numbers 31 and 32 are going to be found together on the far southern side of the Risoka snowfield. And once you make it down here, you'll find our little Korok buddy hanging out on the side of the mountain. Go ahead and interact with him, and you'll see that we need to take him all the way on the other side of the snowfield. The easiest way to do this, pretty much the only way to do this, is to make an airplane, as this is an extremely long distance. So going by foot's going to take you a really long time. And I also recommend, if you're taking an airplane, to put a couple batteries on there. As you guys can see, we really do have to travel a good distance. But once you make it over here, just grab your little Korok buddy, drop him off, interact, and we'll get seeds 31 and 32. Number 33 is also going to be found on the southern side of the Risoka snowfield. You guys can see on your map, we have a whole bunch of trees over here. There's going to be a lot of arrows pointing towards it, but you want to go to the tree that's pretty much right in the middle and climb up top, interact with the cluster of leaves that spawn, and you'll get seed number 33. Number 34 is going to be located just southwest of the Risoka snowfield. We're going to be at the end of this little canyon down here. We're going to have a little puzzle to solve. We're going to pick up the piece. We're going to rotate this thing to the right twice and then upwards twice. And then we can just drop it in from the top. It'll fit in perfectly. And we'll get seed number 34. Number 35 is going to be found on the northern side of the Risoka snowfield over here by this natural bridge right here. What you want to do is go underneath that bridge. And if you look up, you're going to see a balloon that's floating all the way at the top. We just need to hit that thing with an arrow. That'll spawn the Korok and give us seed number 35. Number 36 is going to be found on the far northern side of the Risoka snowfield, all the way up north. You guys can see our location here. And once you make it back here, you're going to find a giant boulder in the ground. The stand for it is going to be on the ledge right here beside it. So lift this thing up. You can push it back and drop it in without even having to go up there. The Korok will pop up and you'll get seed number 36. Number 37 is going to be found over at the statue of the 8th heroine. You guys can see we're going to start from the top of the cliff here next to it. And if we jump down and we float under the long part that's sticking out, you guys will see there's a little ledge here with a small rock on it. Land right over here, pick up that rock, and we'll get the seed number 37. Number 38 can be found over by Mistathi's shelf. You guys can see we're going to be right over here where the 2 giant circles on your map are. And we're going to once again have to build a rooftop. So we've got 3 planks here. Go ahead and take these and line these up perfectly. Again, you want to make sure this is as even as possible. We'll get all 3. Line these up, attach them together, and then we can pick it up and take it up to this next giant little hill and put it up on top, covering the 2 statues. This one's a little tricky, so just try to get it to stay up there. And once you do, the Korok will pop up and you'll get seed number 38. Our 39th and final seed in this region is going to be found just west of the cliffs of Ruvara. And if you come to the ledge of this mountain here, you're going to find a little wooden walkway. If you follow it to the end, there's going to be a piece of wood on the ground that's going to spawn a yellow circle up here above us. The easiest way to get to this, and you want to be careful, is to climb as high as you possibly can on this mountain and then jump off and pull your chute. I messed this up and got lucky, but somehow still made it. If you land right here, just ascend to the roof. You'll still have time to make it into the circle, but once you do, you'll get seed number 39. But this is how to find all 39 Korok seeds here in the Gerudo Highlands in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you guys have any other questions, make sure to leave them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.